The first leader of the Swedish Munson dynasty, a legendary king of Sweden, son of notorious Viking king Ragnar Lothbrok, is no other than capable and ferocious warrior Bjorn Ironside. A legendary Viking is known for his raids in varied towns and islands alongside his brothers and his fathers, the Viking chieftain Ragnar Lothbrok. There are varied sources like the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok, the Tale of Ragnar's Sons, and Saxo Grammaticus Gesta Danorum, which mentions these legendary Vikings. But the oldest one from all of these sources is the Norman history of William of Jumièges, where he was forced to leave Denmark and started to ravage West Francia. However, in some other sources, there are varied other descriptions available. So which one is true is still a blurred canvas. Nevertheless, a Viking legend, Bjorn in 1860 was leading a massive raid into the Mediterranean. It's not just this one raid, but there were endless such raids which resembled him as an iron. Apart from all these, a major benefit to Vikings was that most of his descendants and modern fitness enthusiasts can learn a lot from him. What are the achievements of Bjorn Ironside? How did he spend the majority of his life, and what can other Vikings learn from this capable and ferocious Viking? Let's buckle up to learn some fascinating facts about Bjorn Ironside, a famed Viking. One of the most famed sons of Ragnar and Aslog, also brothers of Ivar the Boneless, Vidserk, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye, the Tide of Battles. His famed brothers Ivar is known for strategy and planning, and Bjorn and Vidserk are known for battle prowess. All three of them could be frequently spotted as they went for several raiding and adventuring together. All three of them were the boldest warriors, and each of them possessed all sorts of skills. Of all the three brothers, Bjorn's leadership skill amused by Vikings a lot, as he's said to turn off the tides of the battles, and this is clearly evident through his ruling areas. Bjorn took revenge on King Ela for attacking his father and eventually killing him. However, it was Ragnar who was too overconfident about his powers. Ragnar was too confident to invade England with just 2 ships, but the results were expected. Ragnar was captured by King Ela of Northumbria, and further Ragnar was captured where he was dead in a snake pit. So Bjorn and his brothers allegedly tortured Ela by performing Blood Eagle on him. Bjorn became the ruler of some part of Sweden named Uppsala, central Sweden, and all its lands after the death of Ragnar. He was not given lordship over Sweden, but for some sources, it was found out Bjorn was a king of Norway. This was when his father was alive. However, there's no mention of his personal life in varied sources. In just one source, that is in CE legendary work Hervarar's saga, Åke Hedrix, which was released somewhere in the 13th century, mentions his 2 children, Eric and Rifel. What are the Bjorn facts which are in the limelight in history? Bjorn is known as a highly proficient chieftain and a naval commander. We already know he was highly influenced by his father. However, Bjorn's mentor was Hastin, who was also a very good friend of Ragnar. With Hastin and some of his other companions, Bjorn raided several places in France and other towns. Bjorn wanted to be 2 steps ahead of his father's move of controlling Paris, and so he planned to attack Rome, which was one of the most prosperous and prominent cities in Europe at the time. Bjorn is also highlighted for a long journey towards the Mediterranean with his mentor Hastin. During that long journey with a massive fleet of 62, they plundered down the Iberian coast and also attacked and raided cities, villages, and other settlements as well when they were heading towards Gibraltar. The next city or town on the list for raiding was south of France, and until that it was already winter, so they had to rest. However, their plan was not at a halt, as once the winter ended, they instantly landed in Italy and looted the coastal coast of Pisa. So finally, their historical achievements, especially in raiding, are endless. Bjorn is similar to his father in both good and bad ways, and the fascinating fact here is Bjorn was a great admirer of his father and followed his rules and order above everything and everyone. We already glimpsed how honorable warrior Bjorn is, and he was the one who would strike fear in his enemies while inspiring his allies to be brave in the face of death. Besides his bravery, there are several mentions of shameless actions by Bjorn. Let's look into some of them. Bjorn used to always put his desires first above everyone else. After the death of Ragnar and after taking revenge from King Ela, he was a natural successor for the king of Kattegat and potentially the king too. With no doubt, he respects the people a lot, the bloodline, the claim, learns from the experience in battle, and has an understanding of diplomacy. But the twist here was Bjorn could be an ideal king for the province, but in reality, he didn't want to be one as he wanted to be a courtier explorer. Keeping a note of it, Bjorn refused to take the throne and decided to pursue his dreams and not serve the people for their goodwill. This move of him could be shameless, as despite so much chaos in Kattegat, he chose his desires first. However, tables turned all around when he desired to be king of all of Norway. He refused to take the throne at Kattegat, but after a couple of years, he fought hard to become the first king of all Norway. And the reason for opting for the king position in all Norway is pretty clear. It's just for more power and a higher position. No doubt he had to excel and grow further, but the decision he took was not a fair one, as Kattegat needed Bjorn, but at the moment he chose to explore and did not want any responsibility. The story has interesting and surprising turns and twists, as with time, Bjorn took back Kattegat from his brother Ivar, and finally snatched the title King of Kattegat from Ivar. Without a doubt, Bjorn is an amazing leader, king, and incredible warrior. His axe can easily be compared with his father's Ragnar Lothbrok. Once he took control over Kattegat, Bjorn and some of his companions started raiding local villages, and during one of those raids in Lagertha's domain, the marauders murdered Holly, who was one of Bjorn's sons. This is insane. The craziest action was when Lagertha, his mother, was also stabbed to death when she arrived back in Kattegat after the raid. This is one of the worst things ever done by Bjorn and his companions in his life. Bjorn seems heartless, as what we just saw about his own son and his mother. Something similar happened with his daughter as well. When Bjorn was back from Paris, Lagertha brought Bjorn's daughter Siggy to meet him after a long time. But Bjorn's reaction was absurd, and it seemed like Bjorn was not liking the fact that his daughter came up to meet him. His pathetic behavior was observed by Ragnar, and Ragnar once warned him to not act so weird with his flesh and blood. But his behavior never changed, and he continued to be the same heartless person, at least with his children. When Bjorn left his daughter with Aslog, he found that his daughter was dead when he returned from a journey. But the most surprising part here was Bjorn did not feel anything for his dead kid, and never asked Aslog how did it all happen and what was the reason behind his daughter's mysterious death. What about Ragnar? Was he also a heartless person? Well, it's difficult to comment about Ragnar being so harsh, but yes, he was less affectionate about relations, and he was also known for doing only those things which he loved and desired to do. European legend was crucial personnel in younglings, an ancient noble lineage of Swedish and Norwegian kings. From the beliefs of the past, it was found that these people were known as descendants of the god of the Nordic pantheon. Ragnar married 3 times. His first wife was the shield maiden Lagertha, and they have 1 son and 2 daughters. Ragnar's second wife was Thora Borgarord, for whom Ragnar killed the viper, scorching the countryside with her poisonous breath. Ragnar dressed up, which was entirely stuffed with hair, which made the dress less penetrable but more protective. He further soaked the entire dress and allowed it to be frozen for some time to make it sustainable for the challenge. Once the dress was ready, Ragnar further found the serpents and managed to kill them with a spear. The last wife had a vital role in Ragnar's life, being a mother of Bjorn and 4 other sons. So finally, what are your thoughts on Bjorn and his endless stories of raids? Was Bjorn really such a heartless person? Do let us know your views in the comments below. That said, if you enjoyed watching an interesting life tale of Bjorn, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such exciting content. See you in the following video.